Patch 12.10 is upon us, and with a fair amount of content to boot. We'll be taking a deeper look at the patch itself on Friday, but today we're going to continue with our Versus series, taking a look at one of the new meds that came with 12.10, the AFAK, and comparing it to other meds in the same class, the IFAK and SALEWA. I'm Gaz, welcome to the channel. If you enjoy this video or find it helpful, help me out by clicking like. Subscribe and stick around for more coverage of patch 12.10 as well as other guides and opinions. Before we get any further, I'd like to hear your initial opinions on the AFAK versus IFAK debate. Have you decided which you'll use going forward? Let me know in the comments below. On to the video. As mentioned before, the AFAK is the newest addition to the med category in Tarkov. It's so similar to the IFAK and SALEWA that came before it, so it's worth breaking these down in typical Versus style to see which ones we should take into raids going forward. Time for some numbers. The new AFAK is a 1-slot item with 400 hit points. These can be used to heal up limbs, stop light bleeds at the cost of 30 points, and heavy bleeds at the cost of 170. It has a use time of 3 seconds and will heal up to a maximum of 60 hit points per use. The IFAK, its most similar competitor, is also a 1-slot item. Again, it takes 3 seconds to use and can also heal light and heavy bleeds. However, the IFAK only has a health pool of 300, costs 210 to heal a heavy bleed compared to the AFAK's 70, and will only heal a maximum of 50 for each use. The SALEWA looks even less appealing now as it's a 2-slot item that also has 400 hit points. Additionally, it costs 45 HP to heal a light bleed and 175 to heal a heavy bleed, which is more than the AFAK. It has the same use time as both other kits in this list at 3 seconds, but will heal a maximum of 85 HP per use, meaning you'll always be able to bring a limb back to full with this kit. Next, we'll take a look at price. Bear in mind that the price of the AFAK is bound to fluctuate as the market settles, as at the time of recording we are 1 day into the patch. Currently, Peacekeeper is the only vendor that sells the AFAK. You'll need to have achieved mastery with him, and each kit will cost you $302 at the time of recording. You'll also only be able to buy 2 of these from him per restock. Prices on the flea market have settled at around 40k rubles for now, which is roughly equivalent to Peacekeeper's offer. As for IFAKs, you'll be able to purchase them from Therapist at level 3 for 27,000 rubles. However, there's a huge difference in price between vendor and market here, as you'll easily snap IFAKs up on the flea for around 10k. Finally, you're able to purchase SALEWAs at Therapist level 2 for 23,000 rubles. There's next to no difference in price here in comparison with the flea market, where they'll set you back around 20k. Okay, so we figured out which is best on paper, the AFAK, and we know the IFAK is the cheapest item at 10k versus 20 and 40 for the others. But how does this all fit together? I'm going to make 2 different recommendations here, depending on which stage of the wipe you are currently at. Firstly, if you're struggling for money and need cheap meds, I recommend going for the IFAK and supplementing it with a hemostat. This will cost you the same or less as a SALEWA, but the hemostat will prevent you from eating a huge chunk of your IFAK for heavy bleeds. It's also easier to move around 2 1-slot items than 1 2-slot item. And for the average player who's sitting on at least a few million rubles, I think the choice here is pretty clear. The AFAK is now the best medkit in the game. The difference between 10k and 40k per raid is negligible when you've got enough cash, and the AFAK dominates the IFAK, while also managing to brush the SALEWA aside, mainly due to it being a 1-slot item that does a better job, albeit for a higher price. The AFAK is meta, and there's nothing you can say to change my mind on that one. I'll be running this little kit from now on. Like the video if you found it helpful, and let me know which items you think I should cover next in the comments below. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.